Before you buy a new car, you're going to want to test drive it to make sure it's right for you. Now, I've been reviewing cars for over 14 years, so I'm going to tell you what to do in this top 10 guide on how to test drive a new car. After the salesperson has shown you around the car and explained how everything works, see if you can take the car away on your own, because you're going to have to concentrate in order to evaluate it properly. And it's easier to do that if you've got some peace and quiet. Now, before you even drive the car, you need to make sure that you can get comfortable behind the wheel. And what's important is making sure you can find your ideal driving position. So check the movement in the seat. Make sure you can get it high enough if you're short, so you can see out, or low enough if you're tall. Obviously check the backrest as well. And the movement in the steering wheel. Once again, it's important to find your ideal driving position. Another thing to look out for is this feature here. So some cars get this thing called lumbar support, and it's like an added cushion in your lower spine, and it's really handy if you suffer from a bad back. Not all cars have that feature, and some have it as an option, so it's worth finding out. Next, you want to consider the comfort of your passengers. So if you're going to carry older people regularly, you want to make sure it's nice and easy for them to get in and out of the car. And the closer a seat height is to your hip height, actually makes that easier. Also then consider the amount of room you have in the rear seats. Is there enough headroom, enough knee room? And if you're going to be carrying 3 people in the back regularly, definitely check out the centre seat, make sure it's livable. You can actually go one better. Enlist the help of a couple of salespeople to sit either side of you, as that'll give you a greater sense of what it's like with 3 people in the back. You're probably going to need to check that the car's going to be practical enough for your needs. So check the boot is going to be big enough and it's not too difficult to lift things in and out of it. If you're going to be carrying larger items, say you want to be able to carry your bike in the car, you're going to want to make sure it fits. So take it along with you, see if it does. Also, see how easy it is to put the car into its largest load carrying configuration. Let's say you've got small children, you want to take your child seat along. Is it easy to fit in the back? Will it even fit at all? And then there's the size of the car itself. Will it fit into your garage or your parking space? You may need to take a tape measure along with you. When it comes to seeing what the car's actually like to drive, ideally you want to test it on 3 main types of road. You want to try it in town, you want to try it on a twisty road, see how it handles, and you also want to take it on the motorway or on a fast dual carriageway. Ideally, you want to drive it alone without any distractions, but for insurance reasons, you may have to have the salesman with you. If they have to come along, ask them to be quiet. The best solution though is to borrow the car for a day or 2 so you can fully test it out. It's important that you test how easy you find the car to park, so you're just going to have to find a space and give it a go. So visibility is important, make sure you can see well out the front and the back window. Also, what are the parking sensors like? Are they good? Can you rely on them? Do you need to upgrade to all-round sensors? How about a reversing camera? Would that help? Or maybe go on further and have something like an auto park system such as this car has. Ah, look at that. Easy. It really was easy actually. You're going to want to pay particular attention to the controls, so make sure the steering is nice and light, because if it's too heavy it can make the car a bit of a pain to manoeuvre at low speeds. Also go through the gears, ensure the shifts are nice and smooth, the clutch is light and it's easy to engage the biting point. If you've got an automatic, you want the gears to blend together nice and seamlessly. You hardly want to be able to feel the car changing gear, but when you put your foot down you want it to drop a gear quickly and respond instantly so you're not left floundering. Also, pay particular attention to the brakes, so give them a good hard press, make sure they feel nice and strong. However, you then want to just brush them lightly and make sure the car doesn't suddenly start jerking, because you don't want them to be too sensitive, because that can be annoying as well. It's really important you see just how comfortable the car is, especially on a family car such as this or an SUV. And it's best to do this in town. So what you want to do is look out for potholes and bumps and ridges in the road, and you want to specifically drive the car into them to see how it reacts. You want to make sure it doesn't send any really strong jolts into the cabin. Also, find an uneven surface, a bad bit of tarmac that's all broken up, and make sure the car doesn't fidget about too much, because that can drive you crazy. Now some cars have adjustable suspension with a comfort mode, so see what that's like. Does it make it even more comfortable? Does it make it all soft and squidgy and really relaxing? Often have a sports mode too, so you press that and it'll firm up the suspension and make it probably a little bit too firm. If you're going to be doing a lot of miles, you want to make sure your car is quiet. So if you can, get up to 70 miles an hour and listen for any wind noise or tyre noise. Essentially, you want to be able to hold a conversation quite easily at that kind of speed. It's also worth just checking how easy it is to operate the infotainment system when you're driving. You don't want it to be too distracting. You don't want to be constantly looking down at it. It's always worth heading out to a twisty road to see how well the car handles. Now, you don't necessarily need it to be fun to drive unless of course it's a sports car. What you want to make sure is that it feels safe and secure, so it grips the road well, it doesn't roll about too much in the corners because that can make you feel a little bit car sick, and that the steering feels nice and precise. It's also a good opportunity to check out the engine's performance, so you want to see how well it responds. Does it feel nice and quick? Is it quick enough for your needs? And what's it like when you rev it? Is it noisy or is it nice and smooth and quiet?
If you follow these 10 steps, it should help you decide if a car is right for you or not. Now, if you click on the pop-out banner in the top right-hand corner of the screen, you can